Concendo sodalitas, beyond the void, primordial consciousness. Greetings, beloved fratres and sorores of Concendo. The quest to comprehend pure consciousness is an age-old challenge, present in diverse spiritual and philosophical traditions. Yet, the transcendent nature of consciousness, which operates beyond the limitations of thought and language, renders this journey complex and paradoxical. Frequently, the experience of pure consciousness is described as a void, an absolute nothingness. However, such an interpretation may lead us into a nihilistic dead end, obscuring the true nature of this primordial state. This text seeks to explore the depth of this void, unveiling its limitless potential and its intrinsic connection with the fullness of existence. Language and thought are tools of the mental plane, operating within dualities, concepts, and time-space. Pure consciousness, on the other hand, transcends these limitations. Therefore, any attempt to describe it with the mind inevitably distorts and confines it. The descriptions found in traditions are, in truth, approximations, metaphors, and symbols pointing beyond mental comprehension. Language, with all its complexity and nuance, is an essential tool for communication and understanding within the mental plane. Yet, when faced with the vastness and depth of consciousness, it proves limited. Words, constructed upon dualities and concepts, may guide us only so far. At a certain point, one must silence the mind and immerse oneself in inner stillness to truly apprehend the essence of consciousness. Just as a musician masters his instrument, yet also understands the importance of pauses and silences within a melody, so too must we alternate the use of language with the practice of silence. Silence is not the absence of sound, but the presence of stillness, the space where intuition manifests and consciousness reveals itself. It is in silence that we transcend the limitations of thought and connect with our divine essence, experiencing the peace and serenity dwelling within. Thus, as the text approaches the mystery of consciousness, it must also create space for silence, guiding the reader towards a reflective pause, an attentive listening to what arises from the heart. The words of Eckhart Tolle echo here, reminding us that the ultimate truth lies beyond the grasp of the intellect. Certain descriptions of experiences within the realm of consciousness may suggest that existence at this level resembles absolute nothingness, since duality is drastically minimized. This is a common trap of language, which tends to polarize concepts. The nothingness of pure consciousness is not an absolute void in the sense of non-existence. It is a void of forms, concepts, time, and space, while simultaneously being the fullness of all potential. Like Brahman in Hinduism, it is the underlying basis of all manifestation, the essence from which everything arises. Identifying consciousness with nothingness may lead to a pessimistic, nihilistic view of existence, where life becomes a mere accident doomed to annihilation. Such a perspective disregards the dynamic and creative nature of consciousness, reducing it to a static, inert state. To avoid this trap, we must understand the void of consciousness in a new light. It is not absence, but pure potentiality of all manifestations, the blank canvas awaiting creation, the silence that precedes the melody. It is the absence of limits, forms, and concepts, the space in which all things may arise and manifest, free of restrictions or conditioning. It is not the absence of being, but the absolute presence of being, the source of all existence, consciousness in its purest nature, the primordial I Am. And far from being static or inert, It is a dynamic energy, in constant motion and expression. The vital force that pulses in all things, driving creation and manifestation. The duality of being and non-being is a central theme in many spiritual philosophies. Pure consciousness is simultaneously non-being and being, embracing both aspects in a paradoxical unity. At its deepest level, consciousness transcends all concrete existence, being non-being in the sense that it lies beyond the limitations and categories of the material world. Yet at the same time, this consciousness is the source of all being, for from it everything emanates. The experience of duality, then, is a temporary and dynamic form of the manifestation of consciousness, where being and non-being intertwine in an eternal dance. This interdependence between being and non-being may be seen as the very pulse of life, where the nothingness preceding all forms contains within it the infinite potential of being. Recognizing this paradox allows us to live the world from a new perspective, realizing that each thing is at once transient and eternal, concrete and abstract, existing as a temporary manifestation of absolute consciousness. The expression "I am," though seemingly simple, carries immense depth. It is not an affirmation of the ego, but the recognition of pure presence, of the primordial consciousness dwelling within each of us. It is the echo of the source itself, the individualized manifestation of universal consciousness. When we say "I am," we are not referring to the body, thoughts, or emotions, but to the silent witness observing all of these. It is the perception of our immutable essence, transcending the changes of time and space. The experience of the "I am" is a call to delve within, stripping away all identifications and labels. It is the encounter with our true divine nature, the realization that we are integral parts of the consciousness permeating the universe. It is the awakening to unity, the dissolution of the illusion of separation, and the deep understanding that we are, in essence, the very consciousness seeking to recognize itself through each life experience. Impermanence is a fundamental concept, affirming that everything in the concrete mental world is transient, that nothing remains the same for long. This transience is not seen as a source of suffering, but as an essential characteristic of life. In truth, impermanence is the natural expression of the dynamism of pure consciousness, which is in constant motion and creation. By accepting impermanence, we open ourselves more fully to reality as it is, without clinging to forms and past moments, for we understand that everything is in constant flux. This vision frees us from the illusion of control and enables us to live with greater lightness, welcoming change as an integral part of life's cycle. Pure consciousness, as the source of all expression, is by its nature immutable. Yet the concrete world, with its fluctuations and transformations, reflects this quality of impermanence. Thus, by transcending attachment to forms, we may experience the stability of consciousness amid the chaos of the material world, recognizing that change is not a threat, but an opportunity for the new to arise. Pure consciousness, in its essence, is unconditional love and perfect intelligence. The manifestation of consciousness in the universe is an act of love and creativity, a cosmic play in which the source expresses itself through countless forms, including the ego and the material world. This play, this cosmic dance, finds resonance in the teachings of many spiritual traditions which regard reality as an expression of divine consciousness. The process of awakening is not a return, nor an annihilation, nor even a unification of the ego, as is often claimed, but simply the recognition of what we have always been, the integral expression of primordial consciousness. There is nothing to dissolve or disappear, but rather the unveiling of our essence, which has never ceased to be present. It is the realization that we are consciousness itself, manifesting in diverse forms and experiences. The cultivation of self-knowledge and the full living of the present moment allow this truth to become clear, leading us to the naturalness of the being we already are. Pure consciousness remains an unfathomable mystery. By transcending the limitations of thought and language, we may glimpse the true nature of this primordial void, discovering its intrinsic connection with the fullness of existence. As Ramana Maharshi reminded us, the search for consciousness is ultimately the search for ourselves. Pure consciousness is not an end, but a beginning, a gateway to a universe of infinite possibilities. It is the call to unveil the truth residing within us, recognizing the divinity that we are. Pure consciousness is often described as unconditional love, a force transcending attachment, judgment, and separation. This love is not a romantic feeling, but rather a profound understanding of the unity of all existence. By connecting with pure consciousness, we experience a love extending to all beings, regardless of their actions or beliefs. This love frees us from the cycle of judgment and enables us to live with compassion, empathy, and acceptance. Our essence, consciousness, is the source of all creativity, the space where new ideas and inspirations arise. By silencing the mind and connecting with consciousness, we open a channel for creative expression. Creativity is not merely an artistic skill, but a vital force enabling us to solve problems, discover new solutions, and express our individuality authentically. By allowing ourselves to be guided by consciousness, we may transform our lives into a work of art. In the eternity of the I Am, with sincere wishes for awakening. Concendo Sodalitas.